So for those of you who saw my last video, I obviously am really enjoying the Blackmagic Pocket 4K cinema camera. However, I like what it seems to be like many others, including one of my favorite YouTubers, Potato Jet,
Happy New Year, everybody!
have ran into some issues. Just real quick too, this is being filmed on the iPhone XS Max using the new Log 2 from the Filmic Pro app, so let me know how that looks down in the comments below. Obviously, I know it's definitely not DSLR quality, but this is my only main camera right now. Now, yes, before I bought this, I did, of course, see some people having issues with them, and for the price point, you can imagine there's going to be some quality control issues. I mean, this camera beats any camera that I've used that is under $3,000 really, and the image quality itself can be compared to cameras $5,000 to $10,000 sometimes. So how Blackmagic was able to make this thing $1,300 is kind of beyond me. Obviously the build quality lacks a little bit. It is a plasticky feeling compared to what seems like a magnesium alloy. It says online that it's some sort of carbon fiber composite, but I don't know how much of it is actually carbon fiber. But I mean, once you put this thing in a camera cage, especially when the new Tilta one comes out, it's going to be completely fine. So where else does the price speak for itself? Well, obviously some people would argue the battery, but again, that's easily fixed for me with a V-mount adapter. So that leaves us with quality control issues, and I've seen a wide range of things. Again, a lot of issues with batteries, but I see most of that with people using third-party batteries, and they're just upset because it doesn't last as long or it turns off easily. I have a fix for that, or at least a way to help relieve that stress a little bit. That will be coming out in one of my next videos over the coming days. I've also seen some power issues where people using the supplied cable, the camera won't turn on for like 10 minutes. The biggest one I've seen is probably the SSD not reading or writing or being recognized, and that one has a quick fix of just turning off the camera, unplugging the SSD, plugging it back in, turning it back on, or some combination of that. I've had that one a bunch, doesn't bug me. That's one of those bug fixes that I definitely see being fixed whenever the next version comes out. But my issue, I actually can't find anywhere anyone mentioning it at any point. So I don't know if this is one of the first to do it or what. So what happened a couple days ago was I was simply using the camera as I regularly was. I was actually out filming a dynamic range video. Again, that will hopefully come out in the coming days. And I went to unplug the SSD. Now, normally I turn off the camera and unplug it, but this time I was like, whatever. So I unplugged it from the side, and the monitor that I have on top, which currently is just a cheap Feel World Master, I forget the exact MA5 model. Yeah, had this on top and it went completely black. And I was like, well, that's super weird. That's a weird bug. So I powered off the camera, turned it back on, and still no HDMI signal. And I thought, oh man, did this monitor already crap out on me? I mean, I only got it a couple weeks ago. I was like, you get what you pay for. It was only like 150 bucks. Had great reviews, but am I gonna have to send it back? So then what I did was I plugged a different HDMI cable. It's always easiest to check cables first. Still no signal. I plugged the monitor actually into my Mac Pro. So I was having my Mac Pro monitor on this 5-inch screen, which was really funny. But Mac OS showed up on this 5-inch screen. So I knew the monitor was okay. And then I plugged my big monitor here into the HDMI port, again using a different HDMI cable into the camera, and anytime I tried to interface HDMI on the camera, no worky. So really one of two, maybe three things happened. Either it's a hardware issue or it's a software or firmware issue. Now I reached out to Blackmagic, and their customer support I always have a hard time with, because my production 4K, that thing was a workhorse. I had that for like 4 or 5 years, and that thing never gave me any issues. So I never really had to call customer support that much. And this time I got to see how Blackmagic's support line kind of works. They have a very nice phone number to call. Within about 5 minutes, I was talking directly to a person, and they were very nice, and they tried to give me a couple different tips but ultimately they had to send me a RMA form so that I could send this in. Now they also told me on the phone that from the time I sent it out to the time that it gets in my hands is an average of 7 to 10 business days. But that's where the part about Blackmagic is they're not always the best for fulfilling things on time when they wish. I mean, this is a perfect example. I paid for this on eBay just so I could skip the waitlist line. And so if I sent this in, then I would have to just wait for hopefully 7 to 10 business days, could be even longer. And like I said, I'm a small business owner and this is my A-cam. This is it for me. So that's almost 2 weeks or week and a half that I can't film anything. No YouTube videos, no commercial work, and that's not really an option for me. Now, normally when something like this happens, I usually try to go in and reset the software somehow to see if hopefully I can trick the software, because again, I didn't drop the camera, I didn't bump it. It simply happened when the monitor or the SSD was unplugged. Seems like it should be completely unrelated, but somehow it messed with the signals being crossed. I mean, the USB and HDMI are right next to each other, so maybe they're on the same port. My dog's sitting on my desk now, that's good. So I'm hoping that it's just something firmware related, and if they came out with a software update tomorrow, that'd be great. Here's another issue though, is this camera is currently still on its first version of software. So I can't go into the software update utility tool that they have for the computer and go to a previous version to test that out to see if that would fix it. You can't even manually reinstall the firmware or OS or anything on the software utility tool. When you connect the camera to the computer and plug it in, it's just like, hey, here's your camera, there's no software updates available. That's it. There are no settings, advanced, anything. The people at Blackmagic did say there is a reset button on the camera itself in the menu, and there kind of is. You can go in and hit reset camera settings, but that's not reinstalling the OS or anything. It's basically just taking all the presets and all of your function button memorization settings and just resetting them back to factory settings. So I did that just because, and obviously that didn't work. So here I am kind of stuck at this crossroad a little bit. For now, because the camera is still recording, and again, because I rely on this thing for my livelihood, I'm not going to send it in just yet. I really hope they come out with a software update that fixes it, or in the coming weeks, if I see that I'll have a lull of work and I can do without the camera for a week and a half, maybe I'll send it in then. But for now, YouTube videos will keep coming, especially on the Blackmagic. But for anyone who understands not having any sort of tilt or flip screen, it's going to be a little rough filming. So we'll get through it though. Again, overall great camera, but we'll see how the quality control stuff holds up. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.